Calaroga Shark Media.
On social media, Donald John Trump posted, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. Has even less talent than Colbert. Greg Gutfeld is better than all of them combined, including the moron on NBC who ruined the once great Tonight Show." Hello, I'm Johnny Mac. This is the Friday afternoon bonus edition of Daily Comedy News. This episode is entirely about Colbert. Quick housekeeping. The normal episodes will come out at the normal time, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And those are Colbert-less. Although I can tell you in the Saturday morning episode, I pointed out that Colbert didn't have any good monologue jokes this week. I recorded that before the news dropped. Around that, I'm going to do these Colbert-specific bonus episodes. There will be another one of these on Saturday. There will be another one of these on Sunday, and then we'll take it from there. For this episode, I'm going to capture all the reactions. Let's start with the Writers Guild of America. They put out a statement. On July 2nd, Paramount agreed to settle a baseless lawsuit brought against 60 Minutes and CBS News by President Trump for $16 million. On July 15th, during a regular show of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Colbert went on air and called the settlement a, quote, big fat bribe, unquote, in exchange for a favorable decision on the proposed merger between Paramount and Skydance, a charge currently under investigation in California. Less than 48 hours later, on July 17th, Paramount canceled The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, a show currently performing first in its time slot, giving vague references to the program's financial performance as the only explanation. For 10 years, the show has been one of the most successful, beloved, and profitable programs on CBS, entertaining an audience of millions on late-night television, on streaming services, and across social media. Given Paramount's recent capitulation to President Trump in the CBS News lawsuit, the Writers Guild of America has significant concerns that The Late Show's cancellation is a bribe, sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration as the company looks for merger approval. The statement continues, "Cancellations are part of the business, but a corporation terminating a show in bad faith due to explicit or implicit political pressure is dangerous and unacceptable in a democratic society." Skipping ahead, the Writers Guild of America calls on New York State Attorney General Letitia James, no stranger to prosecuting Trump for illegal business practices, to join California and launch an investigation into potential wrongdoing at Paramount. CBS had a statement. It reads, "The Late Show with Stephen Colbert will end its historic run in May 2026 at the end of the broadcast season. We consider Stephen Colbert irreplaceable and will retire the Late Show franchise at that time. We are proud that Stephen called CBS home. He and the broadcast will be remembered in the pantheon of greats that graced late-night television." Now, let me pick that statement apart, okay? So why are you bringing up, if this is about finances, why are you saying we consider Stephen Colbert irreplaceable? Stephen Colbert is replaceable. David Letterman was replaceable. Johnny Carson was replaceable. Jack Paar was replaceable. Stephen Colbert is replaceable. But if you're ending the franchise over money, why are you bringing up that there is no franchise with which to replace him? Unless you're suggesting, or your words are ahead of your brain, and was a scenario where you had The Late Show without Stephen Colbert, perhaps, possibly, maybe, who knows, for political reasons that you wanted Colbert out, maybe so your deal gets through, perhaps, possibly, maybe. I don't know. I don't work for CBS or Paramount or Skydance. I don't know. But we consider Stephen Colbert irreplaceable and will retire the Late Show franchise at that time. Why are you bringing that up? Very strange. LateNighter.com will be a great resource during all this. Bill Carter is the author of The Late Shift, quite possibly the world's foremost expert in late-night television. Bill Carter writes on Late Nighter. Under the headline, "CBS cites costs and Colbert cancellation. The timing tells a different story." Bill writes, "Trump has a long-standing animus toward Colbert. Last September, he called him a complete and total loser, not funny, and, all caps, very boring. He literally called for CBS to, quote, terminate his contract, unquote. He also has a history of threatening the licenses of broadcast networks with late-night hosts who make fun of him. That didn't faze Colbert, who has shown no signs of tempering his nightly puncturing of Trump. He returned from vacation this past Monday and labeled the CBS deal to pay Trump off instead of fighting the 60-minute suit a big fat bribe. For all those reasons, it's hard to accept the stated reasoning behind today's announcement at face value." Bill points out that at the start of the 24-25 season, NBC reacted to economic pressure by dropping one night of The Tonight Show from 5 to 4 and eliminating the ban on The Seth Meyers Show. Bill Carter writes, "But CBS didn't try any of those cost-saving moves, or any cost-saving moves at all. It simply cut off the franchise at the neck. It seems especially abrupt considering that CBS earlier this year had quietly renewed its 12:35 a.m. show after midnight and only reversed course when Taylor Tomlinson quit the show, all of which is to say, as it's just a few months ago, every indication was that CBS intended to maintain its 2-hour late-night block into the foreseeable future. Something happened to change that. Did the cost situation become completely untenable? Or was it Colbert's Trump-centric comedy that became completely unacceptable? Separately, I've seen Bill Carter quoted in the Washington Post as saying, if CBS thinks are people just going to swallow this, they're really deluded. Some reactions from around the internet. Joe Scarborough said, it's terrible because you had the settlement with Donald Trump and then you had Colbert and Jon Stewart criticizing that decision. Then a week later, they're saying, oh, unfortunately, we don't have the money to continue this. You can make that economic argument, but that economic argument should have been made weeks before this or should have been made a couple months down the road. This just makes it look completely connected with the 60 Minutes settlement. Senator Elizabeth Warren said CBS canceled Colbert's show just 3 days after Colbert called out CBS parent company Paramount for its $16 million settlement with Trump, a deal that looks like bribery. America deserves to know if his show was canceled for political reasons. Severance actor Adam Scott posted, love you, Stephen. This is absolute BS, and I, for one, am looking forward to the next 10 months of shows. Ben Stiller tweeted, sorry to hear CBS is canceling one of the best shows they have. Wishing all the people who work so hard on that show all the best. Anderson Cooper on CNN said Stephen Colbert is smart and he is funny and has actual conversations with people on his program. Ex-CNN reporter Jim Acosta commented on the story with the image of Marsha Brady from the Brady Bunch doing the Shore Jan. Judd Apatow on Instagram. My admiration and appreciation for you is bottomless. Excited to see what other brilliance you put into the world. Katie Couric said, I'm so upset about this. I need more information. Rachel Ziegler said, I am extremely sad. I adore you, Stephen. John Batiste, who used to lead Colbert's band, called him the greatest to ever do it on Instagram. Author Stephen King said, Colbert canceled? Please tell me it's a joke. Jamie Lee Curtis was on the red carpet and was asked about it, and she said, it's bad. They're trying to silence people. John Cusack shared a clip of Stephen Colbert on social media and wrote, he's not groveling enough to American fascism. Larry Ellison needs his tax cuts, doesn't need comedians reminding people they're not cattle. Bernie Sanders said CBS's billionaire owners paid Trump $16 million to settle a bogus lawsuit while trying to sell the network to Skydance. Stephen Colbert, an extraordinary talent, the most popular late-night host, slams the deal. Days later, he's fired. Do I think this is a coincidence? No, all caps. Andy Cohen said it's a sad day for late-night television. I think it's a sad day for CBS. I think Stephen Colbert is a singular talent. He's going to have an incredible next chapter. I can't believe CBS is turning off the lights at 11:30 after the local news. I'm stunned. He's one of 3 late-night shows deemed worthy enough for an Emmy nomination. He produces a brilliant show. Bill Burr posted on Threads, sad news about Colbert, but I'm sure it's purely a financial decision. It's not like CBS would ever cancel a comedy show for political reasons. And he included an image of the Smothers Brothers below that. Jimmy Fallon said he was just as shocked as everyone. I really thought I'd ride this out with him for years to come. Seth Meyers said, for as great as a comedian and host he is, Colbert was an even better person, and joked that Colbert can no longer use the excuse that he's too busy to hang out. Jimmy Kimmel went on Instagram and wrote, love you, Stephen. F you and all your Sheldons, CBS. The New York Times writes, executives stressed in the announcement that the cut was purely a financial decision. The Times asks, is that the truth or merely truthy? They then talk about the settlement and write, many legal experts said the deal was an unnecessary concession and a frivolous case. At minimum, it undermined one of TV journalism's most accomplished independent voices, that being 60 Minutes. Talk show hosts have bitten the hand that signs the contracts before. Letterman needled NBC and its then-parent General Electric, but back then the issues didn't involve conflicts with a president willing to pull any necessary levers to punish and influence media outlets. Now Paramount wants to assure us that the cancellation of one of the president's most famous critics is totally coincidentally business. And sure, it absolutely could be. The Independent wrote that they understand Colbert's program had become costly to run over the years and was potentially a drain on the network's bottom line. But many people working at CBS don't fully believe the narrative. One senior staffer at CBS told The Independent that no one at the network is buying that it's a financial decision, adding that the demise of the flagship left everyone stunned, including famous comedians that the source said they knew. Another staffer told The Independent they had been told the show had been on the chopping block for a few years because it was very expensive to produce, but at the same time didn't think that was the reason for the sudden announcement. A staffer said, many of us think this was part and parcel of the Trump shakedown settlement. USA Today wonders if Colbert can't survive this landscape, it's not clear if anyone can. According to LateNighter.com, Late Show was leading the pack in ratings with an average of 2.417 million viewers for the 3 months that in June. Kimmel and Fallon were far behind, averaging 1.77 and 1.19, respectively. Wow, Tonight Show in third place, but let's discuss that at a different time. CNN talked about the financial picture. They quote, Guideline, an ad data firm that estimates that the network late-night shows earned $439 million in ad revenue in 2018 and only $220 million in 2024, a decline of 50%. CBS had been worried about the dynamics for months, even the last few years, according to two people familiar with the situation. While Colbert was officially told Wednesday, apparently executives have been talking about the cost for several weeks now, holding off on final judgment to allow Stephen Colbert and the staff to enjoy the July 4th hiatus. Variety says one of the sources say executives didn't want to force a pay cut or call for trims and couldn't look away from declines in ad support for the entire format. They point out CBS treated Colbert a lot like his predecessor. Letterman wasn't always eager to take on product placement projects or produce sitcoms or game shows, and CBS respected the decision because of his standing. They felt the same way about Colbert. And yet rivals were picking up many more of these projects, like a bar sponsored by Anheuser-Busch and Heineken that had a prominent place on Corden. Kimmel has long embraced doing commercials in-show. Fallon takes part in an ad deal with Ford Motor Company. Those extras help the network and make the host more of a full-time ambassador, according to one person familiar with the mechanics of late-night television. Variety points out, people familiar with the matter say the Colbert-CBS relationship was never a tense one, and no Colbert eagerly took on whatever extra duties the network suggested. He helped launch a comedic sports special built around pickleball and took a hand in producing After Midnight and promoting Taylor Tomlinson. And this is very interesting. While the decision may look like blowback for Colbert's commentary, executives weren't prepared to make a move in May when they could have used it to win extra ad support in the industry's annual upfront ad sales market. And they didn't want to make it without speaking to Colbert directly, something they didn't want to do while he was on vacation. But they couldn't wait, say, till the start of next TV season. Late-night writers and producers typically sign one-year deals, August to August. When contracts tied to the 2025-2026 programming cycle went out to agents, they would only keep people employed through May. CBS executives knew the news of the decision would leak, and quickly, so they had to make the move. My take, all right, loudly and clearly, I'm on Team Colbert in all this. This is terrible. It's a shame that the Late Show franchise is ending after 30 years. Really terrible. I like Colbert. He seems to be a good guy. I've only heard great things about him, never met him, but I've never seen one bad word about Colbert. The timing, yeah, it does seem suspicious. On the other hand, I've been a longtime media executive, and I'll talk about this more over the weekend. There are some bonus episodes coming about this topic. If the show's losing like $40 million a year, why wouldn't you just air a Price is Right rerun? I mean, seriously, it's a business at the end of the day. That many fewer people going to watch they're on a Seinfeld rerun. They're on a Big Bang Theory rerun. It probably won't do all that worse. And the other one, I'd have to ask everyone, when's the last time you watched The Late Show with Stephen Colbert? Now, maybe for you personally, listener, last night might be the answer. I think for me, and I like the guy and I like the idea, I think, honestly, the last time I watched The Late Show with Stephen Colbert was his first night. I don't watch, as much as I love late night, I don't watch any of it live. I'm not up at 11:30, and if I am, I'm not watching live TV. So, times change. This is very painful for all of us, but and again, I am suspicious. My spidey sense is screaming like everyone else, but that aside, it's not the craziest idea to just, like I said, just air Price is Right reruns. All right. That is your bonus episode for Friday afternoon. Like I said, normal episode on Saturday morning. I won't talk about this at all. It was already recorded before any of this news break. Saturday afternoon at some point, there'll be another bonus episode. I'll schedule it for noon Eastern. So at noon Eastern, you'll get a Saturday bonus episode. Sunday morning, a normal Sunday episode already in the can. I won't talk about Colbert at all. Sunday at noon, another bonus episode about Colbert. All right. Appreciate you listening.